Welcome to Life Hacks for People in a Hurry. Today, we're diving into The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer, a book blending memoir and manifesto, offering profound insights. At its core, this book wrestles with something universal, the challenge of asking for help. Not just asking, but doing so with confidence, receiving with grace, and most importantly, trusting the process. Simple, right? Amanda shows us it's anything but. Think about this. How often have you hesitated to ask for help, worried you'd seem needy or, worse, like a freeloader? We've all been there, caught in a tug-of-war between pride, self-reliance, and the vulnerability of reaching out. It's a struggle fueled by fear of judgment, the stigma of dependence, and the false belief that asking is a sign of weakness. Amanda dives headfirst into these messy emotions, untangling why we're so reluctant and how we can break free. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Oh, great. Another self-help book with a catchy title. But let me stop you right there. The Art of Asking isn't your typical 5-step life manual. Amanda doesn't spoon-feed you tactics or scripts. Instead, she tells raw, unfiltered, deeply personal stories that challenge everything you thought you knew about asking. It's not about techniques. It's about transforming your mindset. Here's what makes it even more compelling. Amanda Palmer isn't a psychologist or self-help guru. She's a rock musician. And not just any musician, one who crowdfunded $1.2 million for an album on Kickstarter. Think about that. In an industry where even top artists struggle to survive, Amanda bypassed traditional systems and connected directly with her fans. That's not just talent. It's a masterclass in trust, connection, and yes, the art of asking. Her story didn't end there. TED invited her to share her experience, and her 12-minute talk, also titled The Art of Asking, went viral. Millions watched. That talk became the foundation for this book. But this isn't just a success story about a Kickstarter campaign or a viral TED Talk. It's about something far deeper. Amanda's journey shows us that asking isn't a one-sided plea. It's a two-way exchange built on fairness, reciprocity, and the beauty of human connection. So, here's how we're breaking it down today. First, we'll uncover why asking feels so scary and what's holding us back. Then, we'll explore what asking really means and why it's essential, not just for artists, but for everyone. Next, we'll talk about how asking isn't just about taking. It's about mutual exchange. And finally, we'll wrap up with practical ways you can start asking with confidence and accepting help with grace. Let's start with the question, why is asking for help so difficult? Amanda Palmer identifies 3 key barriers: fear of embarrassment, reluctance to show weakness, and the belief that we don't deserve it. These aren't just passing thoughts, they're deeply ingrained fears that often keep us silent when we need help the most. Think about it. How often do you stop yourself from asking because you're afraid of being turned down? That sting of potential rejection, it's like a neon sign flashing. Don't even try. We tell ourselves it's better to struggle alone than to risk hearing no. Amanda highlights this as a deeply ingrained fear, common in cultures that prioritize self-reliance and independence as virtues. Amanda shares a story about a therapist friend whose work involves helping others navigate emotions and find solutions. But when he hit a rough patch himself, did he reach out? Nope. He went silent, withdrew, and tried to handle it alone. Sound familiar? This is what psychologists call the cave mechanism, especially common among men. It's the instinct to retreat, fix the problem in isolation, and only come back once everything's sorted, as if asking for help would somehow chip away at their strength. But it's not just about looking strong. Sometimes we don't ask because we don't feel worthy of the help we might receive. Amanda shares another story, this time about a musician friend. She's talented, driven, and full of potential. She was offered a chance to perform at smaller events, with financial backing, no less. But she turned it down. Why? She convinced herself she wasn't ready, that she didn't deserve the support. I'm just one person, not a whole band, she thought. What if I let them down? Instead of seeing the opportunity as a vote of confidence, she let her self-doubt win. Sound familiar? That little voice in your head whispering, "Who are you to deserve this?" Here's the big takeaway. The barriers to asking aren't about the outside world, they're about the walls we build in our own minds. Fear of embarrassment, fear of looking weak, fear of not being good enough. They're all internal prisons. Amanda calls them phantom enemies. Before we even ask, we've already imagined the rejection, the ridicule, the judgment. We assume the world is out there waiting to say, "You don't deserve this." But is that really true? Is the world really that harsh? Spoiler alert, it's not. Most of the time, people are far kinder and more willing to help than we think. The problem is, we don't give them the chance. We're so busy fighting imaginary battles in our heads that we never step onto the field. Amanda's journey shows us that when you ask, the world can surprise you. But here's the catch, you have to make the first move. You have to be brave enough to break down those mental barriers and just ask. Now that we've unpacked why we hesitate, let's dig deeper. What does asking really mean? Why is it essential, not just for survival, but for connection, growth, and trust? Let's explore that next. What does it mean to ask for help? Amanda Palmer reframes asking not as begging or demanding, but as collaboration. It's about opening a door and inviting others to join you on a shared journey. Picture this: a surgeon in the middle of an operation accidentally cuts a critical blood vessel. Blood is rushing out, every second counts. Do they freeze up, afraid to admit they need help? Of course not. They immediately call out to their team for assistance. No guilt, no hesitation, because everyone in that room is working toward the same goal. Here's the kicker: not asking could cost the patient their life. Now, you might be thinking, sure, but I'm not a surgeon. My problems aren't life or death. Why bother anyone? Amanda flips this logic on its head. The importance of your request isn't about comparing it to someone else's. It's about how it connects to your own goals and values. Consider Henry David Thoreau, author of Walden, a celebrated work on self-reliance and simplicity. People imagine him living completely alone by Walden Pond, cut off from the world. But here's the reality: Thoreau didn't exist in a vacuum. Ralph Waldo Emerson gave him the land for his cabin. His mother and sister brought him baked goods every Sunday. Without that support, Walden might never have been written. Thoreau asked for help, and he wasn't ashamed because he believed his work mattered. Then there's Amanda Palmer herself. When she crowdfunded $1.2 million for her album, critics were quick to call her a freeloader, a fraud. But Amanda didn't let that stop her. She knew the work she was putting in behind the scenes. She wasn't just making music, she was building an entire ecosystem of connection and gratitude. For her backers, Amanda offered everything from handwritten notes to intimate gatherings in their homes. She emailed fans, responded on social media, and even live-streamed her celebrations. This wasn't just about asking for money, it was about creating a collaboration built on trust and shared passion. Here's the key: asking isn't a one-way street. It's not about taking. It's about saying, "Here's what I want to create. Can you help me? And in return, how can I support you?" It's an exchange, a partnership. Still, you might think, I don't need to ask. I can handle things on my own. But let's be real, can anyone truly avoid collaboration today? Think about the workplace. Why do so many companies adopt open office layouts, even with all the noise and distractions? It's because open spaces make it easier to ask for help. They foster a culture where collaboration isn't just possible, it's natural. Imagine you're a new hire. You've got a question. In an open office, you can walk a few desks over, ask someone, and get an answer in minutes. That's how work gets done. That's how relationships are built, by making requests and responding to them. And this goes beyond the workplace. Whether you're building a career, a community, or a personal project, you need other people. Asking is the foundation of those connections. But here's the question: is asking selfish? If my request benefits me, is it fair to keep leaning on others? Amanda's answer is clear: no, it's not selfish. Asking is about reciprocity. It's about creating a cycle where giving and receiving feed into each other. And that's where we're headed next: why asking isn't just fair, but essential for deeper connections and mutual growth. Many of us see asking as a one-sided exchange, I take, you give. But Amanda Palmer redefines it as something much bigger, a web of connection. Every time you ask for help, you're strengthening a bond, creating a partnership, and weaving a thread into a larger network of trust and collaboration. Think about it. When you ask for something and someone says yes, it's not just about you taking and them giving. It's about creating a bond, a relationship. And with every collaboration, that bond gets stronger. Asking doesn't weaken connections, it reinforces them. It's a two-way dynamic where everyone involved gains something, often in ways they didn't expect. Here's a great example from Amanda's life. She's known for turning to her fans when she needs help. Once, she needed a piano to rehearse some new songs. So, what did she do? She hopped on Twitter, sent out a request, and within an hour, a fan had invited her to their home to use their piano. Now, you might think, really? A celebrity asking random people for favors? Isn't that kind of exploitative? But here's why it's not. For Amanda and her fans, this exchange feels fair. She's not exploiting anyone, she's creating a moment of connection. Sure, Amanda gets to borrow a piano, but for her fans, this isn't a burden, it's an honor. It's a chance to give something back to someone who's already given them so much through her music. For them, it's not just about the piano, it's about being part of her story. Amanda has countless stories to prove this. Like the young doctor who told her how her songs helped him survive the darkest days of medical school when the pressure felt unbearable. Or the professor who met his wife at one of Amanda's concerts and later reached out to her after his wife tragically fell into a coma. He even gave Amanda one of his wife's necklaces as a token of gratitude for the joy her music had brought into their lives. These aren't people helping her out of obligation, they're doing it out of love, respect, and gratitude for what she's given them. This is the power of asking. It's not just about the immediate exchange of resources or favors. It's about the bigger ecosystem of trust and reciprocity you create. When someone helps you, it's often because they've already felt the impact of your work, your energy, or your presence, or they trust that something meaningful will come from it down the line. Amanda's music isn't just a product, it's an experience, a connection, even a lifeline for some people. So when she asks for a piano, or a place to stay, or a helping hand, it's not imposing, it's inviting. She's inviting people to be part of something bigger. A story where everyone gives and everyone gets in ways that are meaningful and deeply human. Asking isn't transactional, it's transformative. It builds trust, strengthens relationships, and fosters a community where giving and receiving feed into each other. This dynamic is the key to meaningful collaboration. But how do we master the art of asking with confidence and grace? Let's find out in the final section. Asking for help isn't about being pushy or fearless, it's about trust. Trust in yourself, trust in others, and trust in the belief that you are worthy of receiving help. Amanda Palmer shows us that trust is the foundation for every meaningful request we make. Here's the truth. If you can open your heart, believe in the goodness of others, and accept that you are worthy of their help, you've already mastered the art of asking. Amanda's had people tell her, "You trust too easily." Her response? Isn't trust the most beautiful thing we have? That's the core of it. Trust isn't just a tool, it's the foundation of connection. Picture this. After her concerts, Amanda would stand on stage and ask, "Who can host us tonight?" Fans would raise their hands, and she and her band would spend the night in their homes. It wasn't transactional, it was collaborative. They brought gifts like CDs and T-shirts, shared road stories, and bonded over late-night conversations. It wasn't just about finding a place to stay, it was about creating a shared experience. Now, let's be real. Not everyone you meet will have good intentions. Amanda knows that. She's encountered people with bad motives. But here's the thing, she doesn't let those moments close her off. Instead, she shrugs and says, "Some people are just unpleasant." And then, she moves on, continuing to trust in the overwhelming goodness of humanity. Think about that for a second, because her next story takes trust to a level that might make you pause. During her crowdfunding campaign, Amanda hosted a fan party in Berlin. At one point, she did something incredible. She invited her fans to paint on her body. That's right. She stood in the center of the room, completely naked, surrounded by fans with watercolor pens. This wasn't a publicity stunt or a shock tactic. It was a profound act of trust. She looked at the crowd and thought, I trust you this much. Should I trust you this much? Prove it to me. And they did. There was no tension, no malice, just connection. Moments like this reveal the true essence of asking. It's not about step-by-step guides or clever techniques. It's about undoing the knots inside you, the fear of rejection, the cynicism that makes you distrust others, the instinct to handle everything alone. Yes, some people will say no. Yes, a few might even hurt you. But if you let those moments define you, you close yourself off from the immense kindness that exists in the world. Amanda reminds us of a simple truth: the people with bad intentions are a minority. If you let their actions build walls around you, you'll miss the joy of asking, the beauty of collaboration, and the deep relationships that come from letting others in. Here's the cycle. Trust opens the door to asking. Asking opens the door to collaboration. And collaboration? That's the key to happiness, success, and a truly interconnected life. So think about it. What could happen if you trusted just a little more, asked a little more boldly, and embraced the collaboration waiting on the other side? Maybe the answer is everything. All right, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored together. This isn't just about asking, it's about transforming the way we see ourselves and others. It's about breaking down the walls we've built around vulnerability and unlocking the true power of connection. First, we dug into the big question: why is asking so hard? The answer is fear, plain and simple. Fear of embarrassment. Fear of looking weak. And that nagging, irrational sense of unworthiness. We imagine rejection, ridicule, judgment. But here's the truth. Those fears? They're just shadows, phantom enemies we create in our own minds. Amanda Palmer reminds us that the world is far kinder than we give it credit for. And to access that kindness, we have to take the first step. We have to ask. Next, we uncovered the essence of asking: collaboration. Asking isn't begging. It's not a weakness or a shortcut. It's an act of connection. It's saying, I can't do this alone, but together we can. Asking bridges the gap between you and the people around you. It creates a ripple effect, helping you reach your goals while deepening your relationships. Because asking isn't just about receiving, it's about exchange. Giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin, making asking an act of fairness and mutual respect. Finally, we landed on the secret to mastering the art of asking: trust. Trust in others. Trust in yourself. Trust that when you open your heart and ask, you'll find kindness on the other side. Trust that you are worthy of help, connection, and collaboration. Amanda's stories remind us of this simple truth: trust unlocks doors. Doors to asking, doors to collaboration, and ultimately, doors to happiness and success. Here's my challenge. What's one thing you've hesitated to ask for? Is it pride, fear, or doubt holding you back? Drop your answer in the comments and let's inspire each other to take the leap. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who could use a reminder to trust and ask. Let's keep the conversation alive, and until next time, stay curious and keep reaching for what you deserve.